What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another session of Coffee and Martial Arts. Salute, salute, salute. Cheers. Oh, yes. Hold on a second. Okay, everybody. If you're watching, go get your coffee right now, or your tea, or your drink, your soda, whatever. Even if you want to have a beer or a glass of wine, go get it because this is going to be good. Yes, sir. We have a good show today. Okay, a great guest with a lot of very, very interesting information. So sit tight, go get your coffee first, then come back. If you want to get some munchies too, get them. Popcorn, whatever. It's going to be good, okay? But before we go there, let me just say that we are going live through our Facebook page, Master Frank Soto Kinetic Dragon. Yes, sir. Just look for Master Frank Soto Kinetic Dragon. Please follow us on that page. That really helps us a lot. Or subscribe or like it. Just click on the like button or the following button. And that's going to, keep on helping us to keep on going with this. It doesn't cost you anything, and it does make a difference. One of your clicks makes a big difference. Okay, we are also going live through International Hall of Fame of Argentina. Yes, sir. Okay, they're an amazing group of martial artists. They also produce a magazine every month. This is the one, the issue of June. Okay, Revista Internacional Hall of Fame Argentina. Yes, sir. Okay. And we are also collaborators there. That's the article that I did this month, Striking Arts versus Grappling Arts. Okay. Also, my good friend and collaborator, Sensei Axel Cardenas, has his own Bujutsu Koryu Budo Gendai, The Listing. Yes, sir. That's a good article as well. Okay. So, also, may I remind you, this Saturday in Open Mat Talks, let's talk about Kenpo self-defense and bullying. With Master Sean Kelly, he's going to be talking about his Stump the Bullying program and a lot of good stuff. He's very well studied and an expert in Kenpo. So he's going to share a lot of, his insights and stuff. So don't miss it. It's going to be good. Yes, sir. Okay. Also, we are going live through our YouTube channel, the Kinetic Dragon channel. Subscribe on the channel, click on the little bell so you get that notification every time we go live. Yes, sir. Yes, señor. Por favor. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So, today, please ask questions. Leave a comment. Okay. Our guest here likes to be asked. Okay. He wants to share. He has tons of information that he's going to share with us today. So I got to say, yesterday we did our testing because now I'm usually doing a testing before we don't want to get any problems. So we did a testing here. And of course, the testing was supposed to be for 5 minutes and we stayed talking for 4 hours. Yes, sir. So the man of the hour today, okay, he is a Kenpo black belt, also a military man. Retired. So he's been in the art for 30 something years in Kenpo, 31, and also in martial arts before that. So he started as a young kid training in the arts, and then actually he started with Kenpo, I believe, but he'll tell the story. So he has been very passionate about the history of the art and the practicality of the art. So if we understand our history and how it was created, we can understand how Kenpo works and how we can take it into the future. We've been telling this for a while now, and he's doing an amazing job with that. So let's bring in, yes, sir, the man of the hour, the Kenpo black belt, Sami Ibrahim.
Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening.
Hello, sir. Salud. Okay. Before we go with you, sir, we have people saying hello. Grandmaster Nathaniel Ortega from Hawaii saying aloha. Aloha, my friend. Buenos dias. Good morning. Douglas Ferraz. Os. Internacional Hall of Fame. Saludos, maestros. From Casa de la Cultura China, Santa Fe, Argentina. Hot from the heart, Sifu Ernesto Kohlbrenner, all the way from the Chinese Cultural House of Santa Fe, Argentina. Gracias. Douglas Ferrez, salud from Brazil. Oh, sir, thank you. Okay. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you, sir, for accepting the invitation. And thank you for all the research you have done. For sharing some of that information with me yesterday. It was really enlightening and very, very revealing. I really enjoyed that conversation. So I know people will enjoy the show today. Before we go there, Chris Lilliland, Havas, a big hello from Denmark. Hello, sir. So before we jump into all this world of, research and all this thing that we're going to talk about, I always ask, and for people who doesn't have the honor or pleasure of knowing you, sir, if you can just give us a brief introduction of how you got into the arts and how you got to where you are today.
Okay. Thank you. It's an honor to be on the show. I greatly appreciate the opportunity to discuss martial arts with anyone, but particularly with you and with the audience. So really looking forward to this. I will try to keep it brief, but that's not my strong suit. I started in the martial arts around 6 or 7 years old, and by the time I started actually in Hapkido and Taekwondo, but it was only a short amount of time, like maybe a few months. And then I switched to Kenpo, and I've been, a devoted student of Kenpo. But I've made a point to study other martial arts throughout my time in Kenpo and traveling, through the military and everything. I've dabbled in a lot of things. So that's the shortest version I can give you of my background. I'm a devoted Kenpo guy from the Parker lineage of Kenpo, but I am not against discussing any aspect of the martial arts in any system. So by all means, if you have questions about any martial art, throw it at me. I might have a little bit of ability to tell you. My research ends up pulling in information from all the different martial arts, so I tend to have something in there.
You also have a background in the military, right, sir?
That's right. I've served for about 15 years. Was in military intelligence, did some counterintelligence work, and then had some injuries and ended up in a wheelchair, gained a little weight, and I worked my way out of the wheelchair to a cane. Actually was attending, I was at A.C. Rainey's school in Washington, in Federal Way, Washington, when I was going through some of my rehabilitation after surgery, and got back on my feet and, retired from the military. And now I just, I've moved out I was in Tennessee for a while doing college, and then I moved up to Ohio, where I've settled down, and just kind of enjoy my role as a father now. And I'm working on writing a book, which hopefully will have everything that I'm going to cover or touch on here. It's going to be in the book in more detail. So, don't fret over like what was the exact year this happened or whatever. It'll be in the book, and it'll be there for you to examine and tear apart to your liking.
Well, I guess that's what books are about, to learn and to investigate and to question, right? Because it will pop up questions like today. So why don't we talk about that? What's the focus of your book?
Okay. Well, might be better to say what is my was my reason for writing it first might help. So
thank you. Yes.
I started with really just wanting. My main Kenpo teacher, Michael Venenchek, passed away in 2012, and one of the things that I inherited from him was some of his writings. So I immediately wanted to make that available to people. So part of the reason is in writing this book is to share some of the writings that I got from my teacher and his approach to teaching the art of Kenpo. So that was my primary motivation. But then, trying to follow some kind of a structure for writing this book, I got to the history section. And I did not realize it was going to take me so long to dig so deeply into the Kenpo. Kenpo history is so rich. And trying to trace back our roots, I ended up in like the Paleolithic era. I ended up in ancient times, and I had to work my way back up. By the time I got into China, that was there's so many layers of history that have been buried that you had to unearth, and then eventually to Hawaii, and Hawaii was no picnic either. And eventually I got, to Mr. Parker's Kenpo, and I actually had to take a break because I'm still fleshing out a lot of this stuff. But thankfully, I've had the help of many, many brilliant people that have aided me in historical research. Specifically, Uncle Kimo Ferreira in Hawaii and his wife, Asai Ferreira, have helped me. They've provided me with documents to help establish some of the stuff that I had researched. They were able to verify for me and present me with evidence for it. So they've been a huge help. I've been able to reach out to just martial artists from across the spectrum of Kenpo to get their take on it and kind of understand. If they were in that era, then I asked them about the era and their teacher and their lineage. And everybody provided me with something, even if we didn't always agree. At least it made me, what I try to do in the book is I try to put their ideas in there too, not just my own, but I guess you could say like alternative possibilities. So like this is what I think, but this is what other people think, so that it's not just a one-sided, my truth is the only truth approach. I think you froze there on me. No problem. I'll keep talking. So as far as the book goes, besides history, I wanted to get into violence. Specifically, I feel from traveling around and visiting a lot of the martial arts schools in the world that there is this. We live. A lot of us live in a time of peace, and we don't have very much direct contact with violence. So a lot of times, what students have to go by is their teacher's idea of what they think violence is. And that's not always accurate. A lot of this information comes from assumptions, right? Even if it's like assumptions of what the criminal mindset is, the assumptions of what the criminal intent is. And sometimes I know that everybody means well, or they're trying their best to convey
Sorry
practical and useful information.
about that.
No problem. But I have this deep passion for trying to convey violence in its more raw form because I've been exposed to it quite a bit throughout my life, and I really wanted people to have a more accurate understanding. So part of the book is talking about, for example, it goes into rape, aggravated assault, robbery, kidnapping, escape and evasion from, so I get into things that most civilians maybe they wouldn't get that training, but I try to give them a few pieces of training that might help them, and it's not like a CIA manual on how to escape, an interrogation or anything like that. It's not that deep, but it gives everybody just some tips on how to deal with these different types of things and how to look at them from the perspective of the person perpetrating the crime. That way you get to kind of see the different, what they say, modus operandi of the people. And you shouldn't, it doesn't mean that every situation is going to be the same, but there are certain things that you can certainly bet on in that type of situation. If you understand the situation, 9 out of 10 times you can avoid it completely. It's just usually what happens is people, and I know you've talked about this on your show before, people sometimes they feel like things are supposed to be a certain way in civilized society, and they bank on that, and they just go about their day expecting it to be smooth sailing. And unfortunately, the reality of violence is that violence doesn't care what you know or who you are or where you are. It comes when it comes, and you have to deal with it. So I just try to cover all of basically everything to do, every crime. Like I broke it down by violent crime, so that whole section of chapter just goes through every type of violent crime and what you can do or how to deal with it. And then it gets into the technical stuff, and I get into techniques. I'm currently working on like whether I'm going to include or not include artwork. So I'm putting my artistic skills to the test here to see if I still got it, and maybe I'll include some drawings there for especially for the techniques and for anatomy and things like that. So, and then it'll end with all of my teachers' writings, and that's kind of the basic idea of the book. But I will say so far, and I'm not trying to brag, I have not seen any other book on Kenpo history that is as detailed as what I put together. Okay, and that's my gift to the Kenpo community. And honestly, I'll tell you right now, some of it's going to be controversial. Some of it's going to be it's not going to be peaches and cream for everybody.
Hold on.
I will do.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm just getting ready if this happens again.
No problem.
There we go.